Hey guys, my name is Emmanuel Johnson, and I welcome you to yet another episode to transform your lives for good. And you guys know me very well. I have been teaching you for so long how best you can maximize your single season, how best you can maximize your youthhood, how you can use your 20s to maximize and make sure that you make the man that you want to become or a lady that you want to become in future. You very well know that I've told you this quite long, that it's only in your 20s that you can determine whether you're going to be a grandfather that will be playing golf or a grandfather that will be playing Ludo. You really have to make a choice and decide what you want to be when you're in your 70s, when you're in your 60s. Do you want to work for your entire life, or you want to retire at the age of 40 and you start enjoying your resources that you made? But then, there's no way I can teach you how to build wealth when you've not built health. You must make sure that you're in good health in order for you to build the wealth that you want and become the man that you want to become. But I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, but I have someone here on the show, a brother, and I know he has been through this, and he knows how best you can get your life together. If you're fighting depression, you're fighting different stuff in your life, you want to be transformed spiritually, you want to be transformed as far as health is concerned, he's the right guy for you here to talk to you, and his name is Theos. Welcome, brother, to the show.
My pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
I won't lie to you. I can talk about money. I can talk about building wealth. I can talk about building official relationships. But if it comes to health, depression, I feel you're the right guy.
Thank you for actually trusting me and
please
believing in me.
Yeah, for sure.
For starters, my name is Theos Balham. I'm a podcaster on a podcast called Balham Talks. We talk about real life issues, that is depression, anxiety, and anything that is related to mental health or anything that actually affects your mental health at the end of the day.
Maybe guys out there might want to really see your face. You're like, oh, who's this Balham? Theos. If you can just show them your entire face.
No, I think I can do like this, maybe.
That's right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So, Baham, there's this thing that really bothers me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of young people, they are so thirsty for success. They are thirsty to make it in their lives. And when they get out of college, they get out of university, what they actually hope for, it is not what is outside there. They think immediately I get out of college, I'll grab this job, I start working, I get money, I buy my first house, I buy my first car, I start living my life. I start traveling, moving. But with that mindset, with that expectations, and they get out there and they find way different with what they were expecting. And they get depressed, they start suffering emotionally. What do you advise?
They say that it is good to prepare for the best always, but always be prepared for the worst. Because at the end of the day, one thing we need to understand is that life can never be a straight line.
Sure.
And if life can never be a straight line, then that means in the journey of life, there are a lot of ups and downs. You can never expect to be on your lows. You can never expect yourself to be on top every time. Why? Because life can never be on a straight line. So, sometimes I think one thing that makes us to always get depressed or being affected by all mental health problems is because we expect too much, and when we get little than what we expected, it really affects us so much and so hard. I think one thing we need to understand is that we're still young.
True.
And now that we are still young, we need to be patient. Because, trust me, out of 100% of millionaires we have in this country, 90% of millionaires are old people. They must be at least in their early 50s or above. So that means we need to work hard, and when you're working hard, make sure that you lower your expectations. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be disappointed.
I'm sorry, I want to interrupt you here. When you talk about those people who are millionaires working very hard and they're getting rich in their 60s, 70s, there are these people that we look up to when they're giving you a story of someone like Mark Zuckerberg. They tell he started his company at the age of 19. I have a friend of mine called Jose. He started his business at the age of 16. By the age of 19, the guy was skyrocketing. He was really earning. And when you look at those guys, you're like, oh my God, I'm 25, I'm 22, I'm getting into my 30s, but I really have nothing to show. So you feel like how hard should I work and how smart should I work? Because we're talking about hard, should they go and start carrying luggage for people so that they can get high amounts of money? How should they work smart?
Definitely, one thing you should understand is that everyone was created different.
Absolutely.
We can never be the same. Everyone was created in his own caliber. And every person that was actually created, if you believe in God, every person has his own calendar.
Woo.
So that means if Mark Zuckerberg got rich at the age of 20, that was his calendar. You don't know when, actually that's one thing I got hit from us. You don't know what your calendar says on when you're going to become rich. And actually not everybody was actually created to be rich. Yes, because there are people who have really tried and worked hard and they have given in themselves, but money has refused to come.
Bro, you remind me about this. Talk about not everyone was created to be rich. Remind me about some guy I was talking to and he told me not everyone was created to become an entrepreneur. Some people were created to just work for those people who have vision so that they can help them achieve their dreams and change the world. So not everyone was created to become a change maker or to start up a business or a company. Some people were just created to work for those people who have the minds to innovate and create. Because look at Elon Musk. You hear Elon Musk is bringing Tesla, is bring now Tesla smartphones, but I doubt he's the one who sits in the laboratory and designs those softwares or programs. He might not be the one, but he's the frontliner. He's the vision bearer. So people are working for him to achieve his vision. I really get you.
At the end of the day, you realize that you create something and you cannot actually achieve your dreams when you are alone.
True.
In life, we can never do things alone and they work out the way we really want them to work out. They may work out. But work that is actually done with joint effort, at the end of the day, trust me, it is cream work. So you need me, I need you at the end of the day. But without running away from actually what we are supposed to be talking about right now here is mental health is important. Absolutely. Your health is important. You're making money or you're trying to make ends meet, but at the end of the day, you need to enjoy that money.
Absolutely.
And if you actually stress yourself over a lot of things every time and then, trust me, you're going to lose your mental health. And instead the money that you're making to enjoy in the coming future, you're going to invest, actually you're going to put that money into health so that actually you can run away from your health problems. You're making money to actually treat yourself. You're not making money to actually make more money. So at the end of the day, one thing I would tell anyone that is actually watching is in whatever you do, make sure that you lower your expectation. It starts with what you are expecting out of something, so that when you're preparing for the best and the worst comes, you blend in with it. One thing you should understand is that, like I've said, life can never be a straight line. And because life can never be a straight line, you have to put this at the back of your mind. Because you know that at one point in life, things are not going to be good. There are a lot of seasons that we have in this life. We have actually, compared to where we are living in Uganda, we have two seasons. We have dry season and we have a wet season. And when you are planting, you are a farmer, you always know that at the end of every season, there is when the season is good and there is when the season is bad. When the season is good, you produce a lot of produce from what you planted. But when the season is bad, you do not actually get enough that you actually would have expected to have gotten. So one thing you should understand is that seasons can never be the same. And when you put that at the back of your mind, you realize that when the worst comes, you are ready for it.
You win.
You will move through the worst to the best.
Cool. That's great. The brother is speaking, you guys. So I've heard of your story about depression and how you fought it. How about you share with brothers and sisters out there suffering with the same stuff, suffering with drugs, suffering with alcohol, suffering with weed, but they are looking for the ways of escaping that dilemma, but they can't mind. Reason being, there is stress at the back of their mind. They think that pushing them, I'm a failure, I've failed to succeed, I've failed to achieve what I wanted. So what do I resort to in order to calm down these hormones that are really banged me up? So they resort to drugs, alcohol, weed, and which damages their brains eventually. So how did you manage to overcome, and what do you advise other people to believe and overcome such situations? Actually, I'm curious about that.
I always tell people that most of the times we are looking for solutions from long places.
Churches.
But the solution that is going to solve your problem, if it is a physical problem or if it is a mental problem, the solution that is going to solve that It's in the inside of you.
Sure.
How? You are the person that chooses to live the kind of life you really want to live.
Mm-hmm.
You are the person that lets anything into your mind. What you feed your mind or what you feed your eyes to is what actually enters into you.
True.
And when you process and think over it, the more you overthink, the more it starts affecting you mentally day by day. So it brings me to the point of anxiety.
Yeah.
Depression is a wide topic that we cannot discuss in one show and we'll finish.
True.
But depression and anxiety are two different things. But one leads to another. Today you are depressed because of something. Let's say you have financial problems. You do not have money. And because you do not have money, we are seeing people who are buying new cars day by day.
Sure.
That might not be a big deal. We have people that we watch on videos, TikTok, Instagram, on Snapchat. They are having fun. They are in bars, and someone spends like over 5 million in one night.
Someone spends your entire capital.
Not actually your entire capital, but even actually a quarter of the money you actually need is not even a quarter to the money he has actually spent. But the moment you keep on feeding yourself to those things and overthinking over them, just know they will have to affect your mental health at the end of the day.
Sure.
So one thing you need to do is make sure you know who you are. Make sure you know what you can handle.
Yeah.
Make sure you know your means and live within your means. Make sure you do not run away from your lane, because the moment you get out of your lane, you will actually end up crashing. That is what I can tell someone that is actually watching today.
Well, that's really so nice. You have to be you. You have to know what works for you, and you have to know your calendar. I mean, this guy is a Christian. God knows when your time to achieve your destiny or to get your destiny will come. So don't rush it. Don't rush it. It's going to come. So I have to ask you about this. Very many people actually suffering lots of stuff. There's healing. People need to heal from maybe their past traumas. It can be relationship trauma. It can be trauma from a family member. It can be trauma from your parents. It can be trauma from anyone. And how best can that person heal and turn another chapter? You know, they say that you cannot turn to another chapter. If you keep on turning back and revising the previous chapter, you will never go forward. And I don't know your perspective. For me, my therapist, this is what he tells me. He told me that for me, if I want to heal, you don't just sit down in a room, start thinking, who are those people that haunted me? He told me write them down, one by one. Don't care if it's a girlfriend, if your ex, if it's your dad, if it's your mom. And I love saying this, very many people have more mom issues than dad issues. But the community has put it in the way that, how dare you say a mother is a bad woman? I mean, she carried you for 9 months and you're saying she's a bad woman? So they trash it off. But people have mom issues than dad issues, but we don't know. But anyway, that's not the topic for today. So he told me, after listing down all the people that hurted you, so list down what they did to you. What did they do? Anything that comes into your mind, write. Then after, write it at those people. When you say it out, it will get off your heart. And that thing works. I don't know what really works for you. For me, I think that he told me and it worked for me.
Fast forward, healing is a process. It's something you should understand.
And it's something that is at heart.
Healing is a process that is not going to take 1 day or 2 days or 3 days.
Yeah, sure.
Most especially to a traumatic event that ever happened in your life, or to a traumatic something that someone actually did to you and it traumatized you. For you to heal from that thing, it takes time. That's one thing you should understand. But it all starts with forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
You need to forgive yourself. You know, they always say that if you cannot love yourself right, then you shouldn't expect anyone to love you the way you would want to be loved.
Yeah.
After forgiving yourself, love yourself. Because let me tell you something. Sometimes we are stressed over people that do not even think about us. Sometimes you feel like you're heartbroken by someone who is not actually heartbroken. And all you're thinking is that I am heartbroken, or maybe he's also hurting. Or I am heartbroken, or maybe I should also do the same thing to hurt that person. And sometimes the more we try to do that, the more we hurt ourselves.
Yeah.
Therefore, you need to first forgive yourself. After forgiving yourself, love yourself. Then after loving yourself, make peace with the people that you actually think that they actually brought all the pain you're going through.
So
by making peace with them.
Theos, I'm curious about knowing, how do you make peace with those people? Do I go and walk to that person and be like, oh, look, you did this, forgive me, I've forgiven you. Just like that?
No. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. Because you may find you are willing to forgive someone who's not actually willing to forgive you.
Absolutely.
So like your therapist said, talking about all these issues, it helps you get relief.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't need anyone that actually knows you. Sometimes you can get a random stranger who can actually listen to you.
True.
Because me, the time I was depressed, I wasn't depressed because someone hurt me. I wasn't depressed because, there is something that had happened in my life. But I can call it a personal problem. But if you can really check out my podcast, you're gonna get a whole story about
put his link in the description.
What actually depressed me. But what I did to overcome was to get someone I could talk to. But one thing I thought about was that the people that knew me would judge me at the end of the day because they knew who I was. And in fear of judgment, I had to look for a stranger. And I actually talked to a Ghanaian. I met him on social media and I was like, if you can really give me your ears, I have something to tell you. And I poured my heart to that guy. We are not friends and I actually never talked to him again since then. But I got relieved from the burden that I was carrying, from everything that was in my head. I got relieved. But if you have someone that actually did hurt you, or maybe there is something that traumatized you, or it might be your friend, it might be your parent, it might be your girlfriend or your boyfriend, what I can tell you is that you need to let go. Just let go of yourself. Make peace with yourself. Forgive yourself. Love yourself. And if you can get any chance to talk to those people,
talk to them
and tell them, you know what, so and so or something, this and this happened, but hey, I'm sorry. Even when you know that you weren't in wrong, just say that you're sorry and let that burden get off you. Because one thing my mom has always told me is that learn to say this word, that I am sorry. Even when you know that you're not in wrong, but to avoid a lot of drama, just forgive yourself and forgive someone and move on.
Guys, that should sink. You've heard it all from the guy himself, Balham. He's a podcaster, and we shall leave his link to his podcast down in the description below. Be sure to follow up and for more guidance about depression and all lots of stuff. That is it from us today. See you next time.
Cut.